I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the first installment of the Mastery of the Force series. You see, we've got Darth Vader. Couldn't imagine starting it any other way. Maybe outside of General Grievous, but nah, you think of Star Wars, you guys start with Darth Vader, just out of respect. So like I said, this is a series that we're going to be covering with all the saber heroes and villains in the game. We'll be talking about the different abilities, how to go about planning out your strategy for playing as each character, the star cards, and just different elements to try to be great on this game. This series, I'm going to try to post this every Friday.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Thanks, Master Yoda. So we'll be posting this every Friday. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to touch on Darth Vader's abilities. So his primary ability is his Focus Rage. This one allows him to increase his health. He deals bonus damage. And can't say it makes him any stronger defensively, but the additional health definitely helps. Now, the cool part with Focus Rage is that when he does his animation to actually focus the rage up, he actually has a moment where he's a tank. So if you time it correctly, you can block, I won't say block grenades, but you can offset the damage of like a grenade toss or someone doing a force push at that same moment. So the time has to be perfect, but that can be useful, especially you have somebody like, let's say Han is doing his shoulder charge. Right when he hits you, if you do that Focus Rage, that'll keep you from getting knocked back, and then you can be aggressive and start swinging on him because he's right there. Same time with like a Luke force push or Kenobi, if you time that Focus Rage right, it gives you an additional block. So you have to use that timing right. So don't just spam the Focus Rage when you see you have it. You have your Saber Toss, which clearly you throw your lightsaber, it's going to come back to you every time. So you definitely want to play your angle right so you can try to manipulate the saber, hit the person on the first throw, and then on the recoil as well. Sometimes it can be useful to aim towards somebody's ankles. I know you guys have heard me make that joke a lot about taking ankles, especially with playing as Grievous with the Claw Rush. In terms of the Saber Toss, it can be difficult to block a saber that's getting aimed low like that. So if your accuracy's there, you can cut somebody on the ankles when you throw it, and then on the recoil back, and that can do a lot of damage, especially if you throw on one of those modifiers for it. And then the Force Choke, of course my favorite attack in this game. You get to bring someone off the ground, choking them out. With that, you've seen me go up in the air, and that's something you can do. So you Force Choke someone, you jump, and Vader's going to bring them up with them, and then you can pair that off with your Saber Toss in midair, or when you both land, then you can start getting some hits off. So that can definitely be useful. Keep somebody from rolling around or any other evasion. Alright, so we're going to talk about the star cards for Darth Vader, and then I'll go into the three that I primarily use. So we have Furious Resilience, less damage while Focus Rage is active. You have the bonus health. Once this is maxed out, you can have an additional 150 health. There is no escape. You have your Saber Toss go further. Once this is maxed out, you get 50% more distance. Punishing Grip, you can Force Choke somebody for a longer time. Surrounded by Fear, you get stamina back after a kill. Fueling the Rage, Focus Rage has an active duration, but its bonus damage is reduced. The Last Gasp, if you Force Choke 2 or more people, you get additional damage. Intensified Lightsaber Toss, so your Saber Toss deals more damage if you hit somebody on the recoil. And then the Deflection Stamina, deflecting blasters will drain less stamina. Okay, so for my abilities, I always run Furious Resilience, Punishing Grip, and Surrounded by Fear. So, Surrounded by Fear, if you're ever going to play as Darth Vader, I would definitely recommend running this ability. Getting stamina back after you get a kill is essential. Vader swings hard, you use up a lot of stamina if you're not standing there just trying to block attacks endlessly. So, with that, once you get your kill, you get some stamina back. That can help when you're in the red, because otherwise Vader will be exhausted and then just getting shot up or getting swung on and you can't block. So definitely want to have this on, get your stamina back so you can keep fighting and be aggressive. Punishing Grip, you can Force Choke for a longer time. This one, once you get the timing down, it can be useful if Vader doesn't drop the person. That happens far too often, and there's other things that can cause someone to get dropped on their Force Choke. For instance, if someone runs up and does a melee attack with a lightsaber, or even melee attack from a blaster player, that can cause somebody to get released from the Force Choke. Now, if you're choking someone and Palpatine is shooting lightning or you're shooting them with a blaster, you can keep doing that, and for whatever reason, the way the game is set up, that is allowed. So if you do a melee, it'll break someone out the choke, but if you shoot them, that's no problem. So you'll see a lot of people, compound a lot of damage off of that. But that's part of the reason why I like using the punishing grip. So you get to choke them longer, better chance of, taking down more health, possibly breaking somebody's neck in the process of it. And then if you do have some teammates nearby, depending on what they're doing, they can capitalize off of it as well. And then Furious Resilience, less damage while the Focus Rage is active. So unless I'm doing this from a defensive standpoint, normally when I focus the Rage up, is to be more aggressive and try to go for a kill or, to initiate the battle. So with that, I'd love to have less damage being done on me while I'm putting myself in a position to be more aggressive and take damage. Now, some of these other abilities can definitely be useful, but just for me, like I said, I play heroes versus villains. Some of these you're going to find them more useful on hero supremacy, like, for instance, deflection stamina. You have a lot of blasters to deal with on hero supremacy. You may find this a little more useful for that type of lobby. If you're in the 4v4 matches of heroes versus villains, you're going to be moving around, having a lot, maneuverability, trying to just escapability, all of that. So you're really not going to put yourself in a situation where you're standing there trying to block, 2, 3, or however many people using blasters in that lobby. The lightsaber throw. Now, I've always played off a controller, so sometimes accuracy isn't there when I do the saber tosses, unless the person's standing right in front of me, or unless I definitely line it up correctly and get the angle right. Some of you playing on mouse and keyboard might find this a little more useful. So if that's the case, feel free to throw these cards on, and you can throw your saber further and then get some additional damage on it from the recoil if you line it up correctly. So that can be useful. But if your saber tosses are like mine, sometimes they're accurate, sometimes it's just not there. May not be the safest bet for you. The bonus health, this may be more useful, if you're first time playing this, just have a little more health added on. But once you've got more experience with this game, the extra health will be useful, but you're going to want to put your stock into other abilities. The last gasp. Now, once again, if you're playing hero supremacy, you have more opportunity of grabbing multiple people. So, you may find this more useful. You get the additional damage. Even in heroes versus villains, if you're patient about using your force choke, then you could find this useful. You'll grab a couple people. 50% bonus damage is a considerable amount. So you may find that useful. At the same time, like I spoke on earlier, Vader has a tendency of dropping people, or if somebody hits a person, then they can get released from your force choke. So when that happens, pretty much makes these modifiers useless. So circumstances, most of the time you may not have two people there to force choke, or if you are able to get them, someone may knock them out of it. And then fueling the rage, you get to see the focus rage is active for a little bit longer. It's a very minimal penalty on the damage, but at the same time, people survive with very minimal health as it is. So the idea of doing anything that might reduce your damage output, I'm not on board with that. At the same time, even though it is reduced damage, having that focus rage, your health will still be boosted a little bit longer. So it can be useful. It's just up to your playstyle. You'll make these adjustments as you're playing more. Alright, so now we're going to jump into some heroes versus villains matches. So I'll be, kind of highlighting some of the abilities as I was talking about them earlier with the star cards. And then, as we're facing different opponents, I'll kind of, give some tips on what you can do as Vader. This will particularly be more helpful with the blaster players as we encounter them.
Apology accepted.
Please join me in welcoming today's
Always got to run. You always got to walk. You don't go run into the Jedi. You're playing as Darth Vader. Take your time.
Corners of the galaxy to do battle across the eras. May the best side prevail.
Alright, use that focus rage. Now we're going to get aggressive. At least try to. You'll see some more instances of it.
Domination continues.
Alright, now one thing that all the saber players can do is a strike when they're going up, when they're jumping. It generally doesn't work when you're going down. It's more so going up you can do that. A lot of different benefits to it. So as you see there, I'm doing the force choke. I did my jump attack, so it guarantees me a hit as opposed to waiting for him to land and then he might shift out of the attack. It can be used to bridge the distance if you're jumping from one platform to the next. It just looks cool as well,
Never get there.
But it does take you a little, it costs you some stamina because you're swinging, so just be mindful of that. You don't want to overdo it and then run out of stamina. Y'all know what to do if you're enjoying the video.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Alright, so you see somebody's already getting attacked. don't have to 2v1 every time, or if they're definitely getting 2v1, don't pile on. It's a 4v4 lobby. No, we're all better than that. At least act like it.
Now it ends.
So that saber get that recoil damage. Now you see his alpha is incredibly low, but that's alright. It'll take a little more work to get this kill. Alright, focus the rage up.
The price of insurgence.
Alright, so that's the beauty of punishing grip. So you know you're going to hold that force choke a little bit longer. And once you get that timing down, you're going to let that person get choked out. Make sure you maximize all that damage. And then you can do your final hit on him.
Skywalker belongs to me.
All hail the Dark Lord.
Don't run up into that droid from Phasma. It's so annoying. So I'll talk about how to deal with some of these villain blaster players when we're doing the Jedi segments. But for right now, we're just going to stick with Vader. I thought I heard somebody up this way. So, a couple things that you can do fighting some of the different blaster players on here. Han Solo, if he's charging at you with his shoulder attack, you throw your lightsaber, the saber toss, you can stop him from spraying at you. That's pretty useful. You may be able to do the same with Chewbacca because he has a sprint attack as well. So if you throw your saber, that could work out, and that's for that as well. I'm just kind of patrolling around. Like you see, teammates are already handling these battles, so there's no reason to pile in. Kylo's got his kill over there. Take advantage of those shifts. Try to anticipate player movement, see where people are going to go so you can get the next attack. It's like right here I see Anakin running up, so instead of just targeting Yoda, I'm going to go ahead and get him because he's jumping up. Get those swings and line up the saber toss when you use it. I already killed Yoda, but you saw the saber toss was where he was, so that would have killed him either way.
Apology accepted.
And that time I shifted to the left so that the recoil would come back around and hit Anakin a second time, so that worked out well. If my timing was right, that would have been a perfect time to do a force choke against Kenobi, but I missed it. Now remember, Vader's a tank, so 2v1s is not out of the realm of possibility for him. He should be able to tank a lot of damage and maintain in these fights. Not just standing there blocking and parry blocking hits. Parry blocking when you pretty much just swing back when someone else is already swinging at you. So you're doing your block, they swing at you, and then you swing back. So it takes minimal stamina to do that. You get a lot, you get your damage output of it. It's kind of a broken concept for the saber players. It can get abused. And that's something I try not to do because it's too easy to get kills if you're just standing there constantly blocking, doing parry hits, and then come back and start spamming your abilities. So that was the focus rage clip that you saw from earlier, a good example of it. So you saw Luke did his swing, and I completely blocked it with the focus rage without me actually doing the block animation. So that's kind of like a 2-for-1 with that focus rage. Which is cool for Vader, because I mean, like Anakin, he has the Retribution as a 4th ability, and the Focus Rage gives you that defense for that. Alright, so they got their kill there, but we're going to get some revenge. A little bit of revenge never hurt nobody.
You are as clumsy as you are stupid.
Take your time, make sure you get your hits and everything lined up. Give yourself some time to get your abilities back and your stamina. You don't have to go rushing everywhere. Gotta love doing that. Alright, so shifting around like that, I'm just trying to bait the abilities to get used. You guys see me do that often when I'm playing against Count Dooku. Try to get that lightning out the way so that I don't get stunned. You see with Chewbacca shooting that bowcaster, you cannot block bowcaster rounds. It's still gonna hurt. So even with focus rage, you can't block. You'll see him do the animation. He may deflect some of it, but the bowcaster is stronger than just your average blaster. So don't stand there thinking you can block Chewbacca. You're not going to block those hits. You got to move. Take some high ground, break a neck there. But yeah, you got to move from those bowcasters.
Nice and easy.
Got another 2v1 lined up here. Shift out that passionate strike. Focus the rage up and get aggressive. Now we're going to get this final kill. I see it's one left. Are we going to get it ourselves? I think so. We got him held in place. Throw that saber. And even that time the recoil that came back around. So very effective. Oh, you got to love this map. This beautiful intro for the villains. You got to love it.
You are as clumsy
Please
as you
welcome
are
the
stupid.
galaxy's greatest heroes, deadliest villains, and cockiest self-promoters in an epic battle for your fickle attentions.
Alright, start it off. Get the Wookiee first. I always like to get those blaster players out the way because the minute you don't, they're in the back of the map shooting you. They're throwing grenades across the map. Incredibly annoying to deal with. So, hate to target players like that, but once again, you're going to be fighting the saber players. You don't have time for someone to be shooting you in your back. And that's exactly what they're going to do. I mean, strategy, anything, you know.
Your life ends.
So as you see there, Phasma was shooting Anakin while he still gained force choke, so that's what we were talking about earlier. Blasters won't affect your force choke.
You are defeated, princess.
Evil slithers past our heroes.
So you see, you really don't have to have that modifier. If you do your timing right, her health was so low, not much you could have did anyway.
4-1 for the good guys.
Focus the rage up. Some of this is just timing. You get used to it from playing the game.
Villainy steals the lead.
Throw that saber.
All hail the Dark Lord of kill
So
streaks.
shifting back like that, it's more so like just angle is part of it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else as to why I'm shifting around like I am.
Ultimate bragging rights.
Sometimes it can help
50%
if there's enemies that might be in the middle of where you threw that saber. So like throwing that at Leia, if there was someone else nearby, shifting back will give it a little more distance and possibly connect with someone else. Now you see Lando just came up. So you may get lucky with doing a focus rage when he does his grenade ability that freezes you in place. It doesn't happen as often, so your best bet is going to be trying to jump, because even trying to shift, it has to be incredibly lucky for that to go through. Your best bet, if you get Lando, you see that grenade's coming up, just jump. Like you see that shifting out of it like I just did there, that rarely ever happens. That's more like a bug on the game than anything, because I just played it too much. It doesn't happen often enough. You can't shift out of it. A little player anticipation. You saw Rey was just coming right there. You throw your lightsaber, line it up.
You are as clumsy as you are stupid.
Oh, Princess Leia. And these grenades on the ground. Throw them on the ground, you can't do anything about it. Just jump over them. Get some high ground if able. You gotta watch out for that cable spin. Now, if you playing as Vader, if you focus your rage up, you can swing on that droid when he's doing cable spin. You'll be stronger and you'll kill it. Only problem though is if someone else is nearby boosting that droid's health, that's gonna mess you up. And then you're just gonna be taking damage. So you get that cable spin, get some high ground.
Darth Vader, proving once again, no one ends an argument like a Dark Lord of the Sith.
Alright, so that's going to do it for this first installment of the Mastery of the Force series. Hope you guys learned a lot about Darth Vader and have a little more confidence taking him into battle, because he is definitely the strongest player in the game. And yeah, it's incredibly fun playing as Vader for sure. Now, I know I referenced quite a few things, finding the different enemies between Saber players and the Blaster enemies. Now, of course, I've posted over 250 episodes of Battlefront 2, all heroes versus villains gameplay. So if you want some more insight, definitely check out the playlist. I'll throw that in the description for you. Actually, it's already in the description. It's in the description of every episode. I got you guys. Make your way over to that playlist. Now, one thing I will say with Vader, fighting at some of these maps, definitely going to want to keep it to close quarters, like Jabba's Palace. The medium maps like Naboo Palace Hangar, perfectly fine to battle on those with Vader as well. I think the ones you kind of want to be careful of are like the Kloss Lands, the Trippa Hive. Some of those wide open maps, it can be kind of difficult because, the blaster players will make their way to the edge of the map, and then you have to try to get there to battle them. And I posted a video not that long ago. I think it was like episode 263 or 262, or maybe 264. One of those three. You'll find out. But yeah, in that episode, where I think we were fighting on the abandoned rebel outpost on Crate, and that one of those distance maps where if you're playing as Vader, if you're jumping around everywhere, he's going to float back down and make it easy for him to get shot up. So you do, and of course you can't block while you're in the air, so it's not the best thing to do. Unless you really just want to play as Vader, or you keep them in a particular side of the map, it might work out better, but all that distance is not best suited for him. You'll find some of the other Saber players better for that, and we'll talk about it in the coming weeks. But some of the smaller maps, medium maps, those are going to be where Vader can thrive the most. But I'll post a poll trying to see who you would like to see for next Friday. So we could run through the rest of the villains, or if you want to go back and forth and maybe do Luke or Anakin, one of the heroes, and get some insight on them next, we can definitely mix it up. So I'll have that poll posted probably Monday or maybe even this weekend. So just keep an eye out for it. But outside of that, I appreciate all the support. I hope you guys enjoy this special episode and the ones coming from this series. Let me know if there's anything I missed in the comments, and we can definitely get into some more conversation about this. Any questions or anything, just hit the comment section. I'll be there, and I will catch you guys back on the battlefront.